When Grandpa asked me to choose one of the 4 foreign older sisters to marry, I refused them all. In my previous life, to prevent me from being lonely, Grandpa adopted 4 foreign older sisters from an orphanage. They adored me and pampered me since childhood, spoiling me into the little young master that everyone envied. But after Grandpa passed away, they all changed because they fell in love with the poor student I sponsored. Not only did they steal everything from me and give it to the poor student, but they also locked me in the villa, treating me like their broken-winged swan. They couldn't bear to torment the poor student, so they took turns using all 108 positions on me. Finally, the poor student deliberately fell and got injured, falsely accusing me of pushing him. I was forcibly disemboweled by the 4 sisters, bled heavily, and died on the operating table. The first thing I did after being reborn was agree to the marriage alliance with the military officer Shi Jiayun-shi. As soon as I stepped out of the Civil Affairs Bureau, I received a call from Grandpa. Ping'an Yunji, this girl has secretly proposed to you 88 times. She is sincere towards you, and the women of the Yun family are famously devoted. Handing you over to her, Grandpa is at ease. Grandpa is old, and he only hopes that someone can protect you. The group shares you gave to the 4 sisters before I've taken the liberty to take back. Since they are not going to be your wives, it is not appropriate for them to hold on to these things. Listening to Grandpa's comforting words, I couldn't help but feel my eyes well up. In the last life, Grandpa had once said that the 4 adult sisters were not suitable to be my wife, but I didn't listen. Now that I have a second chance, I will definitely listen to Grandpa and never fall into the tragic ending of my previous life. Suppressing my emotions, I tried to make my voice sound cheerful. Grandpa, I'll listen to you. You take good care of yourself at the Yun family sanitarium. I'll go see you during the new year. After hanging up the phone, I returned home. Just as I reached the door of my bedroom, I saw Zhang Yida occupying my large bed. Zhang Yida was the ungrateful poor student I sponsored, the man who was loved to the bone by the 4 sisters in my last life. At this moment, the 4 women, known as Haicheng F4, were gathered around Zhang Yida. The eldest sister, Liu Ruyan, the current cool-headed CEO of the Liu Group, was holding an antique pocket watch, gently trying to please Zhang Yida. The second sister, Liu Ruxue, a gentle and dignified doctor, was carefully testing the temperature of a bowl of medicine before giving it to Zhang Yida. The third sister, Liu Rulan, a hormone-fueled movie queen famous across the internet, was embracing Zhang Yida with pity. The fourth sister, Liu Ruyun, an unruly female race car driver, was making funny faces to amuse Zhang Yida. I stared at the 4 familiar yet strange people, and my lower abdomen seemed to ache again. Those sticky, humiliating nights suddenly became vividly clear. Who would have thought that the 4 women I most trusted and loved would treat me as the lowest form of toy and plunge my life into darkness? I tightly gripped my phone, desperately suppressing the disgust in my heart, and walked straight in without knocking. As soon as Zhang Yida saw me, he was startled and shrank into Liu Rulan's arms. He said pitifully, "Ping'an, I know this is your room. It's inappropriate for me to stay here, but the 4 of them said this room has the best lighting and insisted that I stay." Zhang Yida loves to play pitiful and win sympathy. In my last life, I suffered a lot because of this, trying not to let the 4 sisters dislike me. Now, I don't even want the 4 of them, so what is there to endure? "Zhang Yida," I sneered, cutting him off directly. "If you know it's inappropriate, why don't you scram? I'm getting married soon, and no one else can live in my house lest my future wife misunderstands." When my words fell, the 4th sister, Liu Ruyan, immediately glared at me. "Liu Ping'an, do you know how to talk? If you don't, then don't speak. I think you're the one who should get out." The second sister also looked at me with reproach. Even the always aloof and taciturn eldest sister, Liu Ruyan, frowned. "Grandpa did ask you to choose one of the 4 of us to marry, but none of us are ready. Marriage is a serious matter and cannot be rushed." The third sister, Li Rulan, simply helped the trembling Zhang Yida to leave. "It's just borrowing your room for a bit. As a good friend, can't you let Yida have it? You still want us to marry you? You need to put away your young master's temper. With such a wonderful Yida here, no woman would choose you over him." In the past, if they had spoken such harsh words, I would have been angry a long time ago, but now I only said expressionlessly, "I never said I'd marry you." Liu Ping'an. What are you pretending for? The fourth sister, Liu Ruyun, pointed to a row of gifts on the bookshelf inside the room. You treasure every little thing we four randomly gave you. Who would believe that you won't marry us? I followed Liu Ruyun's finger and looked at the bookshelf. The nearly 2-meter-high bookshelf was packed. The paper cranes the third sister casually folded, the fountain pen the eldest sister used, the glass globe the second sister gave, and the trophy from the fourth sister's first race win. As much as I treasured these things back then, I now hate them just as much. I walked straight to the bookshelf. In front of the 3 remaining women, I raised my hand and grabbed the racing trophy. Then let me show you my determination not to marry you. Smash! I threw the trophy hard, and it shattered into pieces. But I wasn't done. I sneered and continued. The fountain pen the eldest sister gave? Smashed. The glass globe the second sister gave? Smashed. The glass jar of paper cranes the third sister gave? Smashed. I picked up their group photo to smash it, but the eldest sister, Liu Ruyan, gripped my hand tightly. The woman's usually profound and indifferent eyes were filled with disappointment. Enough. She took the photo from my hand. Since you're so reluctant to part with this room, then you stay here. Let Yida stay on the first floor. I took a step back, putting distance between myself and the 3 sisters in the room before looking up and staring at them. My tone was cold. This villa was bought for me by Grandpa. If I say Zhang Yida has to scram, if you have any objections, then scram with him. As I spoke, I took out a wet wipe and cleaned the spot where Liu Ruyan had touched me. Liu Ruyan's face instantly turned cold, and she turned around and left without a word. The nearby Liu Ruyan didn't forget to mock me before leaving. You even managed to anger the eldest sister who is known for her lack of worldly desires until she was speechless. You're really something. The second sister also gave me a cold look, said nothing, and left with her medical bag. But they didn't know. I wasn't deliberately trying to anger them. I genuinely felt sick. Just thinking about how those hands had played with my body in every conceivable way in my previous life made me want to vomit. I ran to the bathroom and threw up for a while, then called the maid to replace everything in the room. I went to the top floor room to rest. I didn't go downstairs all night. The next morning, I took my laptop to the rooftop garden for some fresh air. Just as I sat down, I received a call from Anpu Yinzhao Haute Couture, the global top 1 high-end custom tailor. Mr. Liu, the suit you designed 3 months ago is ready. I opened the email and saw the finished haute couture suit in the attachment. I had designed this suit in my previous life too, but it ended up being worn by Zhang Yida. While I was lost in thought, the fourth sister, Liu Ruyun, suddenly walked over. The second sister and the movie queen, Lu Rulan, followed behind. The 3 of them also saw the suit on the computer screen. Liu Ruyun was the most vicious, and she opened her mouth to mock. You made such a big fuss and smashed things. Turns out you were just playing hard to get. The wedding suit is all designed. Isn't this just waiting to marry one of us? I hadn't expected to run into them. At this hour, shouldn't they be accompanying Zhang Yida to sunbathe downstairs? How unlucky. I closed my laptop and looked at the 3 people in front of me, stating frankly, you're overthinking it. You can rest assured and go take care of Zhang Yida. I have already agreed to the marriage alliance with the Yun family, and will marry him. Upon hearing this, the third sister, the movie queen Liu Rulan, suddenly changed her expression. Her voice lost its usual casualness. The Yun family is a military officer family. They could crush 10 of the richest men with one hand. Their jokes are not to be taken lightly. Don't talk nonsense. Don't cause trouble that the eldest sister has to clean up for you. The second sister, who hadn't spoken, also pushed up her glasses, stepped forward, and grabbed my hand. You've made your fuss, now go downstairs and apologize to Yida. Our family should live together happily. Slap! I slapped her hand away, turning pale and stepping back. Among these 4, I could least stand the touch of the second sister. How ridiculous. Back then, to protect the second sister's surgical hands, I specifically instructed people to airlift the freshest milk from New Zealand for her hand soaks. Yet it was this hand that harvested my kidney and took my life. To this day, I still can't forget that searing pain. Believe me or not, I don't care. I left this sentence and returned to my room, not going out again. In the evening, I received a package delivered by the maid. Inside the package was an ancient, simple dragon and phoenix jade ring. Just then, my phone rang. It was a message from my fiancée, Yungshi, explaining that the ring was the Yun family's heirloom, passed down only to sons-in-law. To show my sincerity, I immediately put the ring on my ring finger, took a photo, and sent it to Yungshi. "How is it? Does it look good?" My voice message had just been sent when the lazy questioning voice of the third sister, the movie queen, came from the doorway. "What looks good?" Before I could turn around, the woman covered my waist from behind. Her hands exerted force, and we both fell onto the nearby sofa. Above my head, the woman was wearing a loose bathrobe, faintly revealing the fullness below her collarbone. Her breath was hot with a strong smell of alcohol. Her drunken peach blossom eyes had red corners, and her exquisite, beautiful face was smiling, but there was no warmth in her eyes. "Whose ring is this? Take it off. The ring finger can only wear a wedding ring. You can't wear this kind of random thing just to throw a tantrum." The woman's face was cold, and her eyes held the possessiveness that was all too familiar to me in my previous life. Every time she looked at me like this, she would relentlessly demand me while simultaneously asking if the other three had been here. The feeling of disgust suddenly surged. My eyes turned red, and I raised my hand and slapped her. "Liu Rulan, did you throw away your brain when you got drunk? I'm Liu Ping'an, not Zhang Yida." But in the next second, Liu Rulan pinned my hand down and leaned in to kiss me viciously. A loud shout from Zhang Yida suddenly came from the doorway. I looked up and saw a jealous Zhang Yida and the three other sisters who looked like they could devour someone. I seized the opportunity to push Liu Rulan away. The woman didn't pay attention to me this time, instead frantically standing up and rushing towards Zhang Yida. "Yida, listen to me." Before she could finish, Zhang Yida suddenly clutched his heart and fainted on the spot. "Yida!" The second sister caught him immediately and helped him leave. The third sister, the movie queen Liu Rulan, anxiously followed. I sat up on the sofa with a cold gaze. Liu Ruyun rushed over and started yelling at me. "Liu Ping'an, you clearly know that Yida likes the third sister, yet you deliberately seduced her and kissed her in front of everyone. Aren't you disgusting?" "Disgusting? Of course, it's disgusting. But the disgusting ones are them." I suppressed my anger, staring intently at Liu Ruyan and Liu Ruyan, who were still in the room. "Are you all blind? Didn't you see I was pushing her away? This is my room, and you all barged in without permission. Who is the shameless one?" Without waiting for the two of them to react, I coldly chased them out and slammed the door shut. I rubbed my temples to calm down for a moment, then took out my phone and contacted a real estate agent to list the villa for sale. After Yungzi and I get married, we will live in the Yun family home and will barely ever return here. If the four of them want to live with Zhang Yida, they shouldn't do their disgusting acts in my house. For several days after that, the four sisters did not come to bother me. If this were before, they would only need one day of Cold War, and I would definitely go and apologize, hoping to maintain the relationship between us. For this, I had listened to many hurtful words. An apology must have the right attitude. If you don't know what you did wrong, just give Yida everything he wants. If you continue to be so arrogant, the four of us will never marry you, even if we remain single for life. Now I only feel that my past self was foolish. If they don't want me, plenty of people do. I finally had some peace, but my phone kept ringing incessantly. All the messages were from Zhang Yida. Ding dong! Another sound. The other side sent a photo. Zhang Yida was sitting among a pile of gifts, smiling brilliantly. And those gifts were exactly the same as the trophy, fountain pen, paper cranes, and glass globe that I had smashed before. I numbly turned off my phone and submitted my graduation design project. My university major was design, and the work for this graduation project was the high-end custom suit I had commissioned Anpu Yinjiao Haute Couture to make. A week later, the Haicheng Design Institute graduation ceremony arrived. I attended the gala. As soon as I reached the banquet hall, I saw Zhang Yida being surrounded by a group of people, with the four sisters at the center, like the moon, surrounded by stars. The eldest sister, Liu Ruyan, had gentle eyes. This haute couture suit is the latest design from Anpu Yinjiao Haute Couture. There's only one in the world. It looks perfect on Yida. The second sister, Liao Ruxiu, smiled gently. Yida is the most dazzling prince here tonight. I wonder if you would allow me to have the first dance with you later. The third sister, Liao Rulan, lightly kissed Zhang Yida's hand, her eyes playfully inviting. Yida, I want to invite you to be the male lead in my next movie. Would you be willing? The fourth sister, Liu Ruyun, was not to be outdone. Yida, I won a racing competition yesterday. The prize was this 30 million yuan ruby ring. Let me put it on you personally. The F4 of Haicheng, now sought after by everyone. The leading financier Liu Ruyan, the global top doctor Liu Ruxu, the Golden Statue Award double movie Queen Liu Rulan, and the world-class professional female race car driver Liu Ruyun were all trying to coax Zhang Yida in various ways. I, who they once held in their palm, was mocked by everyone. F4 used to revolve around Liu Ping'an. He even said F4 would marry him. I think it's a joke. I say Yida is the real prince. He will definitely marry one of the F4 in the future. Yida is generous and kind. Liu Ping'an is arrogant and tyrannical. If I were them, even if Yida made a mistake, I would definitely protect him unconditionally. I didn't pay attention to the mockery. For safety reasons, I had never revealed that I was the grandson of the richest man in Haicheng. Apart from Zhang Yida, the people at school thought I was like Zhang Yida, a poor student. They thought everything I had was due to the preferential treatment of the four sisters. But in reality, the F4 were chosen and cultivated by Grandpa from the orphanage. The Liu family treated them as family, giving them resources and nurturing them to where they are today. Shouldn't they treat me well? I didn't explain myself now. In my previous life, at this very banquet, I had a toast with the sisters, but that bottle of wine was drugged. The five of us were a mess for an entire day and night. That day was the beginning of my tragedy in my last life. This time, I only planned to quietly attend the banquet and would never touch anything that could be ingested at the party. Who knew that Zhang Yida, who was in the crowd and had enjoyed enough envious glances, would walk towards me? He handed me a glass of wine and said with a smile, "Ping'an, don't listen to their nonsense. I know your four sisters love you the most. Cheers to your graduation." I didn't take the wine. Instead, I stepped back. I don't drink. With that, I pushed Zhang Yida aside and walked towards the lounge. Behind me, Liao Ruyun's angry voice rang out. How ungrateful. I ignored it, choosing to avoid everyone to prevent history from repeating itself. But within a few minutes of entering the lounge, a familiar surge of heat suddenly rushed to my lower abdomen. My heart skipped a beat. Even if I died, I recognized this feeling. In my past life, the sisters had often drugged me so I could endure more. After the drug took effect, I would become shameless, only kneeling and begging for affection. I hadn't touched anything today. How did I still get drugged? I frantically took out my phone and, with a trembling hand, pressed 110. I had just finished explaining the situation to the police when the lounge door was suddenly kicked open. I looked up, and just like in my previous life, the four sisters were walking towards me. I backed away in terror, my legs trembling uncontrollably. "Who told you to come? Get out, all of you!" Liu Ruyun stepped forward and snapped. "Didn't you text us and insist on us coming?" The other three also walked towards me. "I didn't! Don't come over!" I retreated until I was cornered, trembling in the corner. In a trance, I thought I saw the past life, the four of them taking turns sitting on me, releasing their lust. "Don't come over. Don't." Under the effect of the drug, my face was flushed red, and tears welled up in my eyes. The dim light shone on my delicate, pale face. I pursed my lips, the corners of my eyes slightly red, creating a strange temptation. The four women's gazes darkened. None of them backed away. They closed in and surrounded me. The third sister, the movie queen, Liu Rulan, squatted down and grabbed a handful of my hair, sniffing it. "Did you call us here? Now that we're here, what tricks are you playing?" When her words fell, the four of them exchanged a look. The intense possessiveness in their eyes gradually overlapped with how they looked in my past life. I desperately wanted to escape, but my body refused to obey. Why? I was only a tiny bit away from escaping the end of my past life. The four women's fingers landed on my waist. Just as I completely despaired. Bang! The door was pushed open. I saw the police rushing towards me from the corner of my eye. Quote, 3 meters, 2 meters, 1 meter. Hurry, faster! The moment the police helped me up, I finally relaxed and fainted. I was saved. I would never fall to the same fate as my past life. Never again. I woke up again in the hospital. The 4 sisters were all gathered around me. The eldest sister, Liu Ruyan, handed me a glass of water, her voice rare in its gentleness and concern. "It's good that you're awake. Is there anywhere else you feel uncomfortable? Drink some water." I was a little dazed. It had been a long time since I felt genuine care in the eldest sister's eyes. The other 3 exchanged glances and nodded in agreement. "It's good that you're okay." Whether they were genuinely concerned or just being perfunctory, I couldn't be bothered to care. I took a sip of water, then heard Liu Ruyan say, "Since you're fine now, take the initiative to withdraw the case from the police station. Big sister knows you're the most sensible." The second sister immediately followed up. There was an aphrodisiac incense lit in the lounge. The police found out it was Yida who did it, but he was also framed. I believe he wouldn't intentionally harm you. The remaining 2 also urged me to forgive Zhang Yida, afraid that he would suffer any harm. I gripped the cup, suppressing my anger. This life, I didn't drink, and the aphrodisiac incense appeared. Could it be that the wine I drank in my past life was also Zhang Yida's doing? Could it be that Zhang Yida was the source of my pain in both lifetimes? The thought of this made me tremble with rage. Every word was squeezed out from between my teeth. I absolutely will not withdraw the case. Seeing my attitude, the 4 of them left in anger and never visited me in the hospital again. I recovered in the hospital for 3 days, taking care of myself and eating the standard hospital patient meals. Early this morning, I had just put a mouthful of porridge in my mouth when the ward door was pushed open. Zhang Yida walked in with a thump-thump of his leather shoes, smiling extremely triumphantly. "Liu Ping'an, are you surprised to see me? So what if you know I was the one who drugged you? With your 4 sisters protecting me, I'm perfectly fine." I originally intended to ignore him, but a glance at Zhang Yida showed him tugging at his ear. I saw the ancient dragon and phoenix jade ring on his finger, and his expression finally changed. I looked down at my ring finger. The ring was indeed gone. The anger in my heart instantly surged. I got out of bed and angrily shouted at Zhang Yida. "Who told you to wear that ring? Take it off." Zhang Yida not only didn't take it off, but raised his hand, proudly saying, "I just casually mentioned that I liked it, and unexpectedly the second sister took the ring off and gave it to me." I didn't want to listen to his bragging and reached out to grab it. Who knew that before I could even touch Zhang Yida, he immediately fell to the ground. The next second, the 4th sister, Liu Ruyan, rushed in and pushed me away, carefully shielding Zhang Yida. She completely ignored me, who had been pushed and hit my head, breaking the skin. The originally extremely arrogant Zhang Yida was now huddled in Liu Ruyan's arms, tears in his eyes, saying in a wronged tone, "I'm sorry, Ping'an. The ring was given to me by the second sister. I just thought it looked nice and wanted to wear it for fun. I didn't mean to take your thing. Please don't hit me, I'm scared." Liu Ruyan immediately snatched the ring off and threw it hard at me. "You demon! You would actually lay a hand on Yida for a broken ring? How can you be so evil?" I used the fastest speed to pick up the ring and carefully wiped off the dust. The second sister by the door also dropped her usual smile. "Does this dirty-looking ring matter that much? You're making a fuss now, not even caring about your own health. Get over here for the medicine or scram." I looked up and shouted at the 3 of them. "All of you, get out!" Liu Ruyan was enraged by my shout and immediately left, taking the secretly triumphant Zhang Yida with her. The second sister also left with a cold face, not bothering with me on the floor. After they left, I closed the door, my face devoid of any sadness. Only people I care about can hurt me, and in this life, I can't wait to cut all ties with them. Another night passed, and I was discharged from the hospital the next day. Unexpectedly, people pointed fingers at me everywhere I went. I had a bad feeling and immediately checked my phone. My name was prominently featured on the hot search. Haicheng Design Institute heartthrob Liu Ping'an plagiarizes his good friend Zhang Yida's graduation design work, and Zhang Yida suffers plagiarism storm. The plagiarism controversy was also reported in my previous life. At that time in my past life, I was already imprisoned by the 4 sisters in the villa. They used my account to apologize and admit fault, and my reputation in all of Haicheng was ruined. I took a deep breath. I clicked on the hot search. Just like in my previous life, My four sisters were unconditionally standing up for Zhang Yida this time. I clicked on the 3 viral videos one by one. At the Liu Group headquarters, the eldest sister, Liu Ruyan, faced the official media camera, her tone extremely serious. Zhang Yida is a talented individual whom the Liu Group is optimistic about. I believe he would not plagiarize. At the new film press conference, the third sister, the movie queen Liu Rulan, personally invited Zhang Yida onto the stage. The second sister accompanied him, holding Zhang Yida on either side, announcing to everyone, "Yida would never plagiarize. I will always believe Yida is kind and pure." At the racetrack, the fourth sister, Liu Ruyun, drove a sports car with the 7 words, "Yida would never plagiarize," proudly plastered on the car as if it were a glorious banner. With Haicheng's richest man's F4 all standing up for Zhang Yida, all public opinion instantly favored him. I became a despicable rat that everyone despised. What, Design Institute heartthrob Liu Ping'an? He's just a vain monster. A poor student? I think he plagiarized Zhang Yida for the 5 million yuan prize money. No wonder F4 isn't revolving around him anymore. All show and no substance. Unlike Zhang Yida, who is a true talent. I stared at the screen. In my previous life, I was forced to admit fault, my reputation was ruined. I was blacklisted by the industry, and I was depressed. With a second chance, I was already prepared. I immediately returned to the villa, found the original manuscript, and posted a clarifying Weibo. I published the complete design drafts and the creative process, clearly explaining the source of every inspiration. The article ended with a brief but powerful sentence. I, Liu Ping'an, would never plagiarize. This clarifying Weibo instantly caused a heated debate. But 3 minutes later, Weibo suddenly crashed, and my clarification disappeared. Then, the eldest sister, Liu Ruyan, called. "Ping'an, let the plagiarism matter end here. Yida is not well, and we don't want him to be upset." The voice on the other end was light, as if this was just an insignificant small matter. My left hand, clenched tightly, dug my nails into my flesh. "So you were the one who had my clarifying Weibo deleted? And you were the one who took down the hot search?" "Yes, I took down the hot search too." The voice on the phone was extremely calm. Before she could finish, I angrily interrupted her. "How dare you take down the hot search? Zhang Yida clearly plagiarized my work. Why should I bear the consequences?" The opposite end said indifferently, "You don't lack that little bit of money. Netizens are just looking for temporary entertainment. Don't worry, this matter will pass quickly." I was so angry at her shameless words that I laughed. Is this about money? How am I supposed to establish myself in this industry as a designer who has been labeled a plagiarist? But her words were still unquestionable. "You are the young master of the Liu family. Even if you don't work in the future, you will be well off for the rest of your life. If Yida is labeled a plagiarist, he will be boycotted by the industry. As a poor student, he won't be able to survive in the future. This matter is settled. Don't mention it again." With that, Liu Ruyan hung up the phone. My heart was churning with rage. In 2 lives, I was betrayed by them without hesitation. I was completely disappointed. I remembered that after I agreed to the marriage contract some time ago, Grandpa had me verified as the Liu Group's young master on Weibo. I immediately used the verified account to log into Weibo and posted a message that soared to the hot search. "I, Liu Ping'an, am the sole heir of the Liu family, the richest man in Haicheng. Do I need to plagiarize for money?" This single sentence caused an uproar. Using the Liu Group's young master account, I published the original creative manuscript and attached the official communication records with Anpu Yinjiao Haute Couture from 3 months ago. Anpu Yinjiao Haute Couture is the most authoritative design brand in the world. They wouldn't help someone fake evidence. The post immediately shot to the top of the trending list. Zhang Yida was nailed to the pillar of shame. Netizens flocked to Zhang Yida's Weibo to curse him. I'm disgusted. What kind of trick did this unscrupulous person use to make F4 protect him instead of the young master? Perhaps Zhang Yida has long climbed into the beds of all 4 and is F4's exclusive kept man. I have money too. Why don't you let me have a go? The official verified account given by Grandpa was enough to suppress the hot search. Less than half an hour after the Weibo post, the 4 sisters, who hadn't returned to the villa in a long time, all showed up. The third sister, the movie queen Liu Rulan, stepped forward and lowered herself to coax me gently like she did when I was younger. "Ping'an, Since you've vented your anger, delete the Weibo post. She reached out to tidy my hair, but I pushed her hand away. I looked at the 4 people in front of me. Now that they were all successful, they probably forgot how they got here. I didn't mind reminding them. I curved my lips in a mocking smile. Now you know to come find me? What were you doing when I was smeared with the accusation of plagiarism? All of you were backing Zhang Yida. You've probably forgotten that Grandpa raised you, hoping you would protect me. Not only did you not protect me, but you hurt me again and again for someone else. Do you think I'll delete the Weibo post? Hearing me bring up Grandpa to pressure them, all 4 of them darkened their faces. Liu Ruyun was the most impatient. Aren't you just jealous of Yida and afraid that we'll be taken away by him? Fine, we'll marry you now, okay? I sneered at her condescending words. No need, I no longer want to marry you. It seemed they hadn't expected me to refuse outright. The faces of all 4 looked even worse. They seemed angry that they had already compromised and were trying to placate me, yet I was still so arrogant and unforgiving. Liu Rulan rubbed her brows, trying to persuade me again. Be good. I know you want to marry the 4 of us. Just choose one now. Whoever you choose will agree, as long as you delete the Weibo post. Liu Ruyan followed up, stepping in front of me and asking in a gentle voice, as long as you delete the Weibo post, we can hold the wedding next week. I coldly refused. No need. I already have a wife. Her name is Youngki. Youngshi liked me and had confessed to me 88 times in private. But previously, I had only considered marrying one of the 4 sisters, so I hadn't told them about Youngshi's affection. Now, the 4 of them exchanged glances, clearly seeing the disbelief in each other's eyes. Liu Ruyun scornfully chuckled. The Yun family is a famous military officer family, very strict with rules. I'm not putting you down, but they want a humble and gentle gentleman. Do you, a petty and willful young master, resemble that at all? If you really can't choose, the 4 of us can marry you at the same time. I swept my gaze over them. The other 3 implicitly agreed with Liu Ruyun's words. I hadn't expected them to compromise to this extent to salvage Zhang Yida's reputation. I used the same graduation design draft as my past life again after being reborn, not to forgive Zhang Yida but to repay him in kind. Just as I was about to refuse, I saw Zhang Yida rush into the house from outside, crying and kowtowing to admit his mistake. Ping-an, I really didn't know that was your graduation design draft. I only saw the draft at the 4th sister's place by chance and got inspiration, so I just borrowed from it. Please forgive me this once. I'm a poor student from the mountains. It took me great effort to get to where I am today. If my reputation is ruined, my life is over. I have no one in my family. If I go back to my hometown, I will definitely be sold by the villagers to an old widow in her 60s or 70s to be her husband. The 4 women looked at the pitifully crying Zhang Yida, their hearts breaking. I watched with indifference from beginning to end. The 4th sister, Liu Ruyun, couldn't hold back her cold face first. She walked over, immediately picked up Zhang Yida from the ground, glanced at me, and said before leaving, "Don't beg him. Don't worry, if your reputation is ruined, I'll support you for life." I didn't take Liu Ruyun's words to heart, but the eldest sister, Liu Ruyan, also promised softly, "You're truly spoiled." I sneered. I am the grandson of the richest man and the sole heir of the Liu family. It's normal for me to be a little arrogant. Eldest sister, is it Zhang Yida's status as an orphan that makes you look down on me so much and feel so sympathetic toward him? The word orphan hit a nerve with all the sisters. The 4 of them were, after all, adopted and raised by Grandpa Liu from an orphanage. Liu Ruyan's perpetually cool face was also flushed with anger. She turned and left with a cold look. The 2nd sister shook her head. You disappoint me too much. The movie queen Liu Rulan also lost her usual flirtatious smile and said coolly, "You've changed so much I don't recognize you anymore." They left one after another. I stared at their retreating backs and gave a self-deprecating smile. Is that so? But in my miserable life in the past, shouldn't I be the one who's disappointed? Now I just spoke a few truths, and they put on this attitude. It's truly ridiculous. I didn't want to worry about this anymore. Instead, my wedding with Youngshi was approaching. I should pick a good gift for him. Should I get a necklace, a ring, earrings, or a brooch? I compared items across various luxury brands for a long time, picking from morning till night before I found something I was satisfied with. Just as I was about to pay, I received a message from Zhang Yida, provoking me. Liu Ping'an, so what if you don't delete the Weibo post? To compensate me, the four of them are going to marry me simultaneously on New Year's Eve. He then sent an image of a wedding invitation. The invitation had 1 groom and 4 brides. I casually opened my social media. Zhang Yida had indeed posted the wedding invitation. I chuckled coldly, clicked like, and replied, "May you all die happy." I was about to put down my phone when the 4th sister, Liu Ruyun, called. Her voice on the other end was triumphant, as if she was waiting to talk to me. "Liu Ping'an, do you regret it now? As long as you apologize to Yida, we will cancel the wedding." I sneered. I did nothing wrong. Why should I apologize? Since you all approve of Zhang Yida and look down on me, this arrogant and willful young master, then I won't force myself into your circle. As soon as I finished speaking, the voices of the other 3 sisters could be heard on the other end of the phone. Liu Ruyun got angry. Before hanging up, she only left 1 sentence. "You better not regret this." I won't regret it. In this life, I finally escaped the tragic fate of my past life. I can't wait to be far away from the 4 of them. I turned off my phone and slept soundly. The next day, I was woken up by the ringing of my phone. It was Grandpa calling. "Ping'an, I've seen everything online. I didn't expect that after all these years, I've raised 4 ungrateful people." I could feel Grandpa's immense fury through the phone. "I will immediately order the revocation of all their privileges." Worried that Grandpa would be so angry that he would harm himself, I gently comforted him. "Grandpa, don't be angry. I no longer like them, and I already have Youngsi. Didn't you say he will protect me from now on?" Grandpa finally calmed down. "Your wedding with Youngshi is set for 1 week later, on New Year's Eve. Take this time to prepare well." After hanging up the phone, I received a message from the real estate agent. "Mr. Liu, the house has been sold at a high price. The buyer will come to take possession on New Year's Eve." I curled my lips and got out of bed. "Perfect, this way. After I leave, the 5 of them won't be able to continue to discuss me here." I went downstairs and instructed the maids to pack up everything in the villa related to the 4 sisters. Then, I burned it all in the courtyard. I also had people call in an excavator to dig up the crabapple trees in the yard. These crabapple trees were planted on the first day the 4 sisters came home with me when I was 10 years old. They witnessed all our years of affection. Now I only find them an eyesore. I want to uproot them, just like completely tearing the 4 people out of my heart. After all this was done, the villa was empty and brand new. Just as I was about to rest, I heard Liu Ruyun's questioning voice from the doorway. "Where are the crabapple trees in the yard? Why were they dug up?" I turned and saw Liu Ruyun walking towards me, her eyes sweeping over me. I thought she was going to get angry, but instead, she talked to herself. "It's just as well. Yida doesn't like crabapples. From now on, we'll plant pure lilies. Yida likes those." I twitched my mouth and said sarcastically, "From now on, you and Zhang Yida are family. You can plant whatever you want." Liu Ruyun suddenly choked up, as if she hadn't expected me to say that. The look in her eyes towards me was complex. Then she added awkwardly, "If you had thought this way earlier, wouldn't it have been fine?" As soon as she finished speaking, my phone rang. It was the wedding planner arranged by Youngshi. "Mr. Liu, the wedding venue and arrangements for next week have been sent to your email. Please check if you need any modifications." I didn't open the email and replied directly to the other side, "You arrange it. I trust you." The phone voice was loud, and Liu Ruyun nearby also heard it. The woman chuckled, triumphantly saying, "You wouldn't be trying to stage a bride-snatching drama, would you, by deliberately having a wedding on the same day as ours, a week from now?" "Liu Ping'an, when you do something wrong, you must be punished. It's no use regretting it now. We promised to give Yida a unique wedding. None of the 4 of us will be snatched away by you." I smiled and gave her an extremely calm look. "I know you all love Zhang Yida. Don't worry, I won't try to snatch the wedding. I have my own wife. I will no longer marry any of the 4 of you. I have my own wife." In the blink of an eye, New Year's Eve arrived. It was the day of both my and Zhang Yida's weddings. In the morning, I carried my luggage downstairs and ran into Zhang Yida wearing a custom-made suit. The perfect cut was exactly the suit from my graduation design. Zhang Yida glanced at me, dressed in a shirt and trousers, and smiled triumphantly. "Don't you have a wedding today, too? Why aren't you wearing a suit?" You don't think that by carrying your luggage and pretending to run away from home, the four of them will be snatched away by you, do you? I'm telling you, it's impossible. I was too lazy to talk to him. I just replied indifferently. Then, I wish you happiness. I hope the five of you are locked together for life and don't come to ruin mine. I carried my suitcase out to the courtyard. As soon as I looked up, I ran into the four sisters wearing wedding dresses. Seeing me with luggage, the four paused for a moment. They exchanged glances, and a hint of panic flashed in their eyes. They simultaneously questioned me. "Where are you going?" Liao Rulan even stepped forward and grabbed my hand, but I avoided her. I said calmly, "To attend my wedding." The four, who were originally worried, relaxed upon hearing this. Their relaxed posture suggested they were convinced I was just playing hard to get. Lu Ruyan took a few steps forward, her brows furrowed as she looked at me. "As long as you don't target Yida and coexist peacefully with him from now on, we will honor Grandpa's promise, marry you, and register the marriage." The others also chimed in. "As long as you accept Yida, we will be the happiest family. Today is New Year's Eve. If you are sincerely remorseful, stay home and prepare the New Year's Eve dinner. After our wedding, we can all celebrate the new year together." I still smiled. "I've made it very clear. I'm also getting married today. From today onwards, every new year has nothing to do with you." After speaking, I ignored the black faces of the four sisters and walked directly to the large lawn outside the villa. Seeing that they couldn't persuade me, the four sisters stopped trying to manage me. Instead, they cherished Zhang Yida like a treasure and helped him into the wedding car. Just then, a roaring sound erupted overhead. Dozens of helicopters with the Yoon character landed on the lawn. Under the shocked gaze of everyone, 2 squads of soldiers in the highest military formal attire lined up in front of me, saluted, and loudly announced, "We are here by the order of Commander Yungxi to welcome Mr. Liu Ping'an to the wedding." The dozens of Yun-marked helicopters on the lawn and the soldiers truly stunned everyone. As the helicopters flew higher and higher, the 4 people on the ground were visibly frantic. Just as they were about to chase after me, Zhang Yida, wearing his suit, blocked them. He spoke in his usual, pitiful tone. "Eldest sister, second sister, third sister, fourth sister, I didn't expect Ping'an to go to such lengths just to steal you from me. I've never heard of a wedding where the bride doesn't show up. He must have spent a lot of money to hire actors." The people who were anxiously about to leave stopped when they heard Zhang Yida's words, but they still had some doubts, as the Yun family was not someone anyone dared to joke with. Zhang Yida continued, his eyes welling up with tears. "Even an unknown person like me knows the Yun family is not to be joked with. Ping'an deliberately hired people to put on a show. If he offends the Yun family, he has the Liu family to protect him, but what about me? He just wants to ruin our wedding and make me the laughingstock of all Haicheng. This way, if I'm all alone, I'll have no way to survive in Haicheng anymore. He just wants to destroy me." Hearing this, the sisters' doubts vanished. They frowned. Liao Ruyan adjusted the hem of her wedding dress and said angrily, "We were almost tricked by Liu Ping'an. How vicious are his intentions." Seeing that his words had swayed the 4 of them, Zhang Yida blinked his innocent fawn-like eyes and said pitifully, "I have nothing but you. Unlike Ping'an, who is the young master of the Liu family, he can be well off no matter what, and he can do many things recklessly. But every step I take is difficult. If I lose you, I don't know how I can survive." Almost instantly, Zhang Yida's eyes were full of tears. The 4 women's hearts ached to see him like this, and they all rushed to comfort him. Liu Zhafor quickly said, "It's our wedding today. You are the handsomest groom and our 4 darlings. We cherish you. Why would we ever abandon you? Right, eldest sister?" The usually serious and steady Liu Ruyan also nodded at this moment, comforting him. "Indeed, we won't abandon the handsomest groom. The wedding will proceed as planned." With that, the 4 of them pulled Zhang Yida into the extended Rolls-Royce. The helicopter landed in the center of the red carpet. I felt an inexplicable nervousness inside. When my heart was only focused on the 4 sisters, I didn't pay any attention to Youngsi's private confessions. Meeting him this time, I felt a kind of competitive intimacy. During the days I didn't see him, I often heard elders mention him. Clearly, he was an outstanding individual among the children of this generation. Grandpa spoke of Youngshi with full praise when he called me. I took out the brooch I had chosen for Youngshi, checked my appearance in the mirror repeatedly, and only descended from the helicopter after confirming everything was in order. 2 hours later, my 4 sisters and Zhang Yida also arrived at Yunding Mountain Villa. The helicopters parked conspicuously on the open ground of the villa were immediately noticed by the people getting out of the car. Liu Ruyun's lips twisted into a sneer. As expected, Liu Ping'an is here to ruin our wedding with Yida. The other 3 also clearly believed that my appearance at Yunding Mountain Villa was planned. They thought I was trying to scare them by saying I was going to marry someone else, but in reality I couldn't let them go and was playing hard to get, hoping they would cancel their wedding with Yida. Zhang Yida was like a frightened rabbit, his eyes instantly turning red. Eldest sister, second sister, third sister, fourth sister? Is Ping'an trying to snatch the wedding? What if he causes trouble at our wedding later? Who knows what drastic means he'll use? I'm so scared I won't be able to marry the 4 of you. The expressions of the sisters instantly changed upon hearing this. Liu Ruyun spoke before anyone else. Yida, don't worry. Even if the sky falls today, we will marry you. The second sister, Liu Ruxu, who had been silent, also softly comforted him. We promised you the most special wedding, and we'll keep our word. We definitely won't be affected by anything else. The third sister, the movie queen, Liu Rulan, hooked Zhang Yida's nose and winked at him with a smile. How could we disappoint the most handsome groom today? The eldest sister, Liao Ruyan, remained calm throughout. Rest assured, all the wedding procedures have been arranged. I'll have people watch over everything and absolutely prevent any accidents. Their assurances were undoubtedly a great comfort to Zhang Yida. He couldn't help but feel secretly smug. The wedding of the 4 of them and Zhang Yida was in the high-class banquet hall of Yunding Mountain Villa, which was next door to my top-tier banquet hall. Both halls were quite luxurious, but the high-class banquet hall was naturally inferior to the top-tier banquet hall. The central diamond fountain was notably absent in the high-class banquet hall. Zhang Yida's expression darkened. Why couldn't his wedding be held in the best banquet hall? He tugged at the third sister Liu Rulan's sleeve and pouted. Third sister, that fountain is so beautiful. Can't we hold our wedding in that top-tier banquet hall? Liu Rulan was also somewhat puzzled. The wedding venue was arranged by the eldest sister. Logically, it should have been the highest specification. Why didn't they reserve the top-tier banquet hall? Eldest sister, Yida wants to switch to the top-tier banquet hall. Let's see if we can communicate with them. Liu Ruyan frowned and said expressionlessly, When I contacted them, the person in charge of the top-tier hall said it wasn't open to the public. Liu Ruyun was impatient. She immediately grabbed a staff member nearby and asked, Can you switch us to the top-tier banquet hall? We are willing to pay any price. The staff member was clearly pulled a bit hard, but quickly recovered. Miss, I apologize, but I cannot help you change. The top-tier banquet hall is not open to the public. Liu Ruyun looked at the helicopters parked on the open ground outside the door, guessing that I must have reserved it. She said dismissively, Don't tell me it's not open to the public. Isn't it currently reserved by an outsider? Tell your boss we'll pay 10 times the price. Today, our wedding must be held in the top-tier banquet hall. Without waiting for the staff member's agreement, Liu Ruyun directly pulled Zhang Yida to the entrance of the top-tier banquet hall. Just as they were about to enter, they were stopped by the security guard at the door. Apologies, miss, you do not have permission to enter. Liu Ruyun was clearly enraged. Do you believe that with one phone call, the person inside will be begging me to enter? As soon as her voice fell, I walked out from the dressing room. This is my wedding venue. Not just any Tom, Dick, or Harry can enter. Upon seeing me, Liu Ruyun forgot her anger, and a dark shadow gradually rose in her eyes. The other 3, who had rushed over, also froze for a moment when they saw me in the suit. They stared at me, their gazes intense, and the deep, dark pupils betrayed a burning desire. Liu Rulan stepped forward, wanting to grab me, but was blocked by the security guard. She stared intently at me, her throat unconsciously swallowing. The second sister, Liu Ruxu, also came forward. The tenderness in her eyes was deeper than ever before. As long as you give the banquet hall to Yida, we'll pretend everything that happened before didn't happen. Our family will continue to live happily together. The eldest sister, Liu Ruyan's habitually cool eyes now churned with a desire she didn't even realize she had. Her voice was slightly hoarse as she spoke. You've made enough trouble these past few days. Be good and go home first. We'll come back to accompany you after we finish our wedding with Yida. I looked at the people in front of me, a mocking smile curving my lips. Even now, these people still hadn't taken my words seriously, only thinking I was throwing a tantrum. But I didn't care anymore. I spoke calmly. I said I'm here to get married. This is my wedding venue. Why should I give it up? As soon as my voice fell, Zhang Yida questioned me, his eyes full of innocence. Ping An, you said you're here to get married. Why haven't I seen the bride? Can a person get married alone? You're not still trying to snatch the wedding, are you? I was completely fed up with Zhang Yida's manipulative behavior. I snapped irritably. I told you I have my own wife. The 5 of you can do whatever you like, just don't come and bother me, lest my wife sees and misunderstands. The 4 sisters also looked around. They really didn't see a bride. They became certain that I was deliberately causing trouble. Liu Ruyan checked her watch and spoke again, her tone more serious. Ping An, stop being petty. Our wedding with Yida is about to start. Give us this top-tier banquet hall for the ceremony. I'll have someone send you back to the villa. Hearing that the auspicious time was approaching, the usually gentle tone of the second sister, Liu Ruxue, also became a little anxious. These little tricks lose their novelty when used repeatedly. I directly retorted, Who's playing little tricks with you? I told you, I have a wife. My wife is Yunqi. With that, I immediately instructed the security guards to start removing them. The 5 of them are not allowed to appear at the banquet hall entrance today. Remove them if they show up. Yes, young master. The security guards immediately began to remove the group upon receiving the order. Liu Ruyun's anger shot to her head. How could a military officer family like the Yun family possibly look upon a tyrannical young master like you? You, on the other hand, stop delaying our wedding with Yida and quickly go home. The moment her voice fell, a powerful, authoritative voice came from behind Liu Ruyun. The one who should scram is you. Yungshi stepped out of the car with long strides.